let's see what happens. Melbourne will be kicking off. Not much breeze here today. Very warm, 27 degrees, a little bit of humidity. It'll be interesting to see how we go with ball handling, of course, in these pre-season games, but expecting a reasonably high standard of footy.
Ryan Pappenhausen to get us underway in the border skirmish here at Albury between the Newcastle Knights and Melbourne Storm. And it's Knights first up, bringing it down the left-hand side. Move it into the middle now. Some strong tackling. Christian Welsh in there, bringing the ball back down to ground. Yeah, these are a couple of guys we want to be able to have a look at because the Knights forward pack, big and strong at the moment, and they'll be looking to try and move it.
Tyson Frizzell there with his first touch of the ball, playing on the right-hand side for the Knights.
So Frizzell coming via the Dragons, New South Wales, an Australian representative. Put some real starch into that lineup. Pearce, first high kick, Pappenhausen camped underneath, takes the ball cleanly. And
tackled in the air, Ryan Pappenhausen, so that'll take the pressure off Melbourne straight away.
So Paps, has he been in the gym across the summer period?
Well, they've all been in the gym. He does look like he's built up a little bit up top. We'll see. I imagine he's as quick as ever.
Absolutely. We love watching him play. Munster with the strong left foot and the Queensland rep.
So Knights fans wondering what their lineup is. Out on this right edge, we've got Stafford Toa and Ari Tuala are out on this right-hand side. Over on the left-hand side, Bradman Best, Gemmet Sibasaki are on those edges.
Lots of talk about Bradman Best as Welsh tries to stand up and eventually taken back down. Ball comes out through the hands of Hughes. Felice Kafusi. The ultimate second rower, Felice Kafusi. Back through the middle. Munster now with an opportunity. Progress halted. So 32 out from the Knights line. Harry Grant back from being on loan. Nelson Asafa Solomono. He might be looking for an offload. In the end held. Now they'll work it down the left-hand side. Munster brings it back in. Knights will wake up to it though. Crisis averted momentarily.
I think that was Connor Watson getting around there at the back, cleaning that one up, and there's a drop ball from the Knights.
Yeah, big hit, opportunity now. Jerome Hughes, in the end, is forced to take the tackle. The big hit, though, coming through from Remus Smith. See how we go on this play as Nelson lines them up. Can't quite breach the line. Storm play the ball again. Grant comes back to Munster on the bounce, so flashes this way and that. Turns back towards co-captain Bromwich. Taken down. 11 metres out. Storm on the attack after that big hit from Smith. Through the hands of Welsh. Hughes again. Taken quickly. Some good work early too by Phoenix Crossland involved. Christian Welsh into his work early. So Storm threatening the Knights line at the moment. Again, Harry Grant. No Cam Smith. Not in this Storm lineup. Pappenhausen through the hands. It goes and first try.
No, he's put his foot out. The touch judge has got his flag up. Fox is having a quick chat to him. So no try there for Storm. Looked dangerous on that left-hand side.
He knew too. He had a wry grin, didn't he?
He did. There's no video replay. So the touch judge's decision is final. So Knights off the hook.
So only a couple of minutes in and already Storm are putting the pressure on what is a young Knights lineup. We talked about Mitchell Pearce being in there at 31 years of age, but that takes the average up, doesn't it, Munners?
Yeah, you look through the rest of that back line from the Knights because they're missing players like Edric Lee, Kalen Ponga, Heimel Hunt, Kurt Mann, Blake Green. So the next oldest player after Mitchell Pearce is Gemmet Shibasaki, age 23 in that back line.
So the Knights try and move it out of the danger zone at the moment. Good run. Munster with the tackle. Again, they continue to move. The offload was maybe a little lazy and Welsh has pounced. Again, the pressure goes back on the Knights. A little bit tardy at the moment, the Knights.
Yeah, Daniel Saifidi there with the offload that just went astray. Followed up there with an offload from, who was that? That was Jesse Nelson Asofa Solomona with one offload of his own.
So Kafusi gets it to within 11 metres. Right down the middle. Storm are marching at the moment. Jerome Hughes, it went back towards Kenny Bromwich. Munster picked it up. Now Pappenhausen. In the end, he just submits. And Storm will reload. 19 out. Again, they come left-hand side. Gee, Welsh has been very busy early, Munners.
Yeah, good hit from Tyson Frizzell, but didn't let him get the offload away. Welsh, he was renowned for his offloads last year.
This time Hughes tries to get it on the foot. Knights will wake up to it, though. And again, they manage just to snare it. Pearce with the ball. I'll try and move it. They've got a couple of young backs that I'm looking forward to seeing plenty of, and we might see them get into their work now through the middle.
Well, they've had no territory so far, the Knights. It's all been down on this Sydney end or northern end of the field.
Certainly has at the moment. Now they send it out towards the left-hand side.
That's Bradman Best, first touch, I believe.
A lot of upside on Bradman Best. People very, very happy with his work. Connor Watson again. He's been equally busy, the lock. Pearce. Frizzell, look at him. He's been leading on the track as well. Coach says he's terrific to have. The ultimate professional. He's got a little untidy, though, on the Knights now. Staved momentarily, so Crossland having to get involved. I don't know, the ball was directed towards him. Now a break. Best again. Taken down to ground. Threatening the line, Paul Munnings.
Yep, coming out to the right, swinging it out.
Through the hands of Pearce. Now they go. Tex Hoy. Taken down to ground. Left hand, Pearce just tries with the outside of the right boot. In the end, though, the big frame of Jesse Bromwich in the way. And he takes it just a metre or two out from his defensive line.
Yeah, good set of six from the Knights. Just not enough gas on that kick to get the repeat six. Tyson Frizzell looking good down this right-hand side to kick off the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, he'd be wanting to prove himself too, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, it's a big season for him. He's at a new club. He'd love to get back in that Origin arena. And the Knights were looking for that extra leadership there in the forward pack.
They lost a number of leaders in the off-season through one means or another. Nelson, Asofa Solomano taken down. Storm are having to work a bit harder this time. So Hughes says, I'm going to put it on the right peg. Tex Hoy, though, accepts the bounce. Works back towards the corridor. Looks to give. Munster wraps him up. 25 out from his defensive line, the fullback. Again, Storm strong in defence. Welsh first and foremost there. Crossland just got it off. Trying to release Best. Couldn't find a hole. Again, Crossland, he's got pretty nimble hands, hasn't he? Doesn't hang on to the ball very long. Manages to hit the target. Oh, that time Pearce put it down.
Yeah, I think he was just looking at what might be ahead of him. It was building for the Knights there down that left. Down that channel, they've looked okay. The couple of times they've gone down that way with Bradman Best. Come back to the right-hand side. Mitchell Pearce has dropped one just inside the Storm half.
So Pearce, the 31-year-old out there, he'll notch 300 games this year. He's been terrific across the competition. Had a rugged off-season, but now reloading for 2021. Waiting scrum to be organised. Munster.
One of the new rules there, when the ball comes out of the scrum, it's the referee calls break, and that's when the players are supposed to break from the scrum. We'll see whether that actually happens or not.
Whether they adhere to that?
Whether they adhere to that or not, we'll wait and see.
Once again, Jesse Bromwich involved. How's the co-captaincy been working early on? Dale Finucane and Jesse Bromwich replacing Cameron Smith.
I had breakfast with both of them this morning, actually, and I asked who was going to toss the coin. They decided Jesse was going to toss it, so that was the first call. We'll see how it goes on the field Coach Craig Bellamy said that he would try to keep at least one of them on the field for most of the game, and then if both of them are off the field, it reverts to Kenny Bromwich. He's the third in line, so we'll see what happens as the game goes on.
Again, the left side, Munster, high ball, Hughes trying to work underneath it. Well taken, though, by the Knights. So Storm continue to press on that left-hand side. Hoy bringing it down to ground. You can see some of the extended bench in the foreground of that shot. Obviously, the opportunity for trial matches is the bigger benches.
Yeah, there's a few numbers down on both benches. I just got a message through the Storm have added another player. So 25, Tyson Smoothie, who's a hooker. So that's another one onto the Storm bench.
Okay, we look forward to seeing him out there. Pearce, Pappenhausen, well positioned. Maybe wanting some assistance there from young Dean Iramia. Didn't come in the end. The backs have to just work it hard. Here he is. Gee, there's a lot of excitement around him too, the teenager.
Coach Greg Bellamy says he goes at 100 miles an hour. So a bit like Justin Olam in that way. Here is Justin Olam.
Here is that man you speak about. Olam taken down to ground. The Fox dancing, weaving, looking for a way through. Not able to achieve it this time. Harry Grant. Jesse Bromwich. Do you think they'll come left-hand side again, Munners?
Shaping to the right through Cameron Munster.
It is at the moment. That's the way they go. Hughes, it was quick hands, was it? Too quick. Which way did it go?
Knock on.
And it's been adjudged a knock on. So the Knights will get the ball back. How have you made the opening minutes, Munners?
Oh, it's pretty, well, what can you say? 0-0 after looking over the clock there, 11 and a half minutes. It's obviously the Storms had the better of the territory, but the Knights haven't really been overly threatened apart from that one effort down on the left-hand sideline where the Fox nearly went in before putting his foot into touch. Apart from that, the Knights have kept Melbourne pretty well under control. Newcastle haven't really had much inside Storm's 20 at all. So you expect that would balance out over the game. Probably 0-0, pretty fair.
It is at the moment. Storm with premiership players everywhere. The Knights we know have got a couple out. Cohen Ponga obviously a big absentee. Kurt Mann also. Got his sister's wedding, I think, this weekend.
Yep, ruled him out.
So here's Frizzell again. Wants to get busy. Wants to establish himself in the red and the blue. There you go, left-hand side.
David Clemmer's got some very bright white boots there for front row, as is his front row partner in Daniel Saifidi. And they changed the numbers around on us too.
Yes, they have. So
it's actually...
He was originally in the 10, now he's in the 8, Clemmer. And Saifidi the other way round. Here's Watson through Pearce. Takes it that time. Hoy on the end of it, running onto the line, the fullback. Gets through a couple. Can't get past Munster and Jesse Bromwich. Pearce, just a little jinking kick. He held the kick momentarily, but Pappenhausen. Wonderful ascent.
Knocked off the ball in the air again. So that's two penalties for that one.
Do you think they're very aware that when he does get on the ground, he's so hard to stop? So they almost take it. They almost say, well, do you know what? We'll absorb this one.
Yeah, and you're always trying to pressure the catcher to try and force an error. He doesn't drop too many. Of course, getting your timing right in the first game of the year is always a little bit of a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, the rust certainly gets shaken off, and Albury's a pretty good place to be shaking it off at the moment. The ground is in terrific nick. Olam. Again, so strong. Now the two forwards combine. Here's Pappenhausen. Gee, Newcastle were on their heels there. Pappenhausen found an extra 10. Taken down in the middle of the park. Iramia. Couldn't quite get to the 40. Harry Grant. We'll talk more about Harry Grant because in the absence of Cam Smith, obviously, Brandon Smith and Harry Grant potentially vying for that hooking position.
Yeah, big battle for that hooking role. I mean, what a great choice Craig Bellamy's got there. You lose possibly the greatest hooker of all time. or even the greatest player of all time, and you've got the state of origin hooker for Queensland and the New Zealand test hooker coming through the ranks, both young players, both very keen to play, both want that number 9.
They certainly do. Here's Welsh again. Strong by the Knights. Jerome Hughes had to pick it up off the bootlaces. Got it to Asafa Solomano though. He manages to get it to within 12 metres. Grant comes back in towards the corridor. Bromwich was running onto it. It didn't work.
That was a try happening right there. Harry Grant darted out a dummy half to his right. Jesse Bromwich was storming through. He would have caught that one. I'm pretty sure that would have been the first points of the afternoon for Melbourne.
Went to ground though. And the co-captain could have certainly lit up the park here at Albury.
He knows it too,
He
Jesse.
does.
He doesn't get too many tries. There it was, first game of the year in the opening 20 minutes. He could have had one.
So an opportunity lost there for the reigning premiers. Trial match here at Albury. Newcastle Knights, Melbourne Storm.
You can tell you're at Crunchy Footy, Koza, when you can smell the sausages coming through the front window of the commentary box.
They do smell very nice. Might be a half-time mission for maybe you, Munners, to get down there and get in the queue.
I do like my food. 6 again for the Knights.
Toa with the early carry. And again, Frizzell. This time they go out towards
That's Dave Clemmer making good ground up the middle.
Yep.
He's been good in the early stages.
Best wrapped up, very near the sideline. In the end, he gave it up. Gee, it looked like he was outside over in the big grandstand area, and Storm are high-fiving, and I think he might have breached the perimeter.
Yeah, it's going to be a scrum feed for Melbourne. They get the choice, of course, where they want to have this scrum, whether it's 10 metres in, 20 metres in, or in the middle of the field. They've elected to go, as I think most teams will, the middle of the field. It's a good attacking opportunity there, where you spread the defence either side. What are we up to now? 18. That's one thing. The only thing about this ground is that the clock is just about hidden from us.
Yes, it is.
And it's got the sun on it, and I think it says 17 minutes gone. 0-0. About this ground's been here since the late 1800s. It's hosted things like Donald Bradman, who once scored a century in under an hour. It's hosted Queen Elizabeth. It's also hosted cycling events, which is why it's a little bit bigger than the normal AFL ground. It's also why we're a long way away from the action up here.
We're out on the wing. And obviously the dimensions of the AFL ground as compared to the rectangular needs of the NRL. Here's Pappenhausen on a break down the left side. Feeds it back into Munster. Again, Knights have to try and reload. In the end, they got their wires crossed and Munster went down to ground. Threatening again the Melbourne Storm. Jesse Bromwich. The famous bell from Melbourne Storm as it goes through the hands and finishes with Kenny Bromwich. He offers a don't argue to Pearce. He's bounced out. And 5 metres before the line, Welsh. He'd love to start the season with an early try. Cam Munster trying to organise them out to the left. They go to the right side. Pappenhausen there waits the ball beautifully. Kafusi, it might be the young kid, Dean Eremea, that goes through, and he is exciting on that right wing.
Yeah, first try for Melbourne in a 13-a-side game. He scored in the NRL 9s last year in Perth, but this one will lean a little bit more to him himself. I think he's got a lot of family members who've come up from Melbourne. Young kid from the Sunbury Tigers is in the corner for the first points for 2021 for the Storm.
He's got a few family members. He's one of 8, young Dean. So there would be a few here at Albury watching him score the first points for Melbourne Storm.
Nice work on that right-hand side. Jerome Hughes, that's his side of the field. Felice Kafusi, he slipped in there too with the last pass. That's probably been coming in the last 5 minutes. There's just been more pressure coming on the Knights line than Melbourne's line. You're getting that to that stage where they've been out in the field for a little while and a little bit of hot weather. First try is there for Melbourne.
So Dean Iramia is the man that went over. 19 years of age, or a teenager certainly. Not much of him, 178 centimetres.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on for that right wing spot. In the first game we had here today, Isaac Lumi came up with 2 tries. George Jennings was one of the best players out on the field as well. So there's 3. Remus Smith, who's playing in the centres today because Brenko Lee is out because of hamstring tightness. He makes another one who can play in the wing. So there's 4 options. So it's what's happened today will count. What happens in training also counts. Interesting to see which way Craig Bellamy goes for round 1. We expect Brenko Lee will be back for round 1. Then that leaves that wing spot open.
So Melbourne Storm with the first points. It took nearly 20 minutes though to be able to get on the board. Ryan Pappenhausen with the kicking duties. Cameron Smith, we know he's broken just about every single record in the NRL, including the points record. Normally has the kicking duties. Still waiting to hear Paul Munnings on the future of the famous number 9.
Yep, if he's listening. Hello, Cameron. Missing you up here. Perhaps has taken over the goal kicking duties. It couldn't be much harder from the sideline. First kick of the afternoon.
So Ryan Pappenhausen.
And he'd probably prefer to be on the left-hand sideline than the right-hand sideline as a right-foot kicker.
He took out 3 awards at the Storm Player of the Year night, as well as, of course, the Clive Churchill medal in the grand final. Pappenhausen, low penetrating kick, and it looks good. It looks good for the custodian.
So Paps has got the job for 2021. We can write that one in. All you NRL fantasy and super coach lovers, he's knocked one over from the sideline. We put a video up yesterday online of Paps revealing he was the first choice goal kicker today. It went nuts online. People love to know who the goal kicker is. Super coach and fantasy points.
Oh yes, big discussion on Monday morning, no doubt about that. Ryan Pappenhausen knocks one over the top, and Newcastle trailing it, yet to score. Melbourne Storm 6. Christian Welsh again.
That's a big confidence boost for Paps too, to get that first kick from the sideline. He had a rough trot down last year, round 20, against the Dragons. I think he missed the first 4 or something like that. It was a very windy afternoon, and they were wide out, but he didn't manage to get one on over early, and he's got one over early today.
Certainly has. Speaking of confidence too, young Dean will certainly have plenty of confidence as well, and there's some big raps on the man who could be winger out on that right-hand side.
A couple of changes for the Storm. Jesse Bromwich is off, I see. Nelson Asofa Solomona is off as well.
Harry Grant this time with the kick.
Brandon Smith is on for his first minutes. I think Dale Finucane might be out there as well.
Hoy working his way across the ground. In the end, his progress halted. 15 out. And Brandon Smith already into the game.
So what happened there, Kozer, is Christian Welsh actually started the game. Dale started on the bench. So when Jesse's come off, Dale Finucane has gone on. So captain for captain.
So Craig Bellamy trying to keep one of his skippers out there at any given time. There's Finucane in the play at the moment.
Well, that's one theory. We'll go with that theory and see whether that's correct.
See how it works.
Maybe he just wanted to start Dale on the bench like he did in the grand final.
Well, it reaped the right result in the grand final. Watson, Mitchell now. This is a more penetrating kick. Iramia underneath it. And runs back with real confidence.
Yeah, there's that 100% full-on footy that Dean Iramia brings. And then Josh Addo-Carr's tried to follow it up, and he's made a mistake, which I think that could be the first one of the afternoon for Melbourne.
So winger to winger, and the Fox was off, but he didn't have the pill with him.
No, he's made a mistake there, and his head's dropped, which gives the Knights probably one of their best chances so far in the first 22 minutes, a set starting 40 metres from Melbourne's try line.
Superb conditions here at Albury, and we do thank the City of Albury for hosting Storm, not only on this occasion, but previously, obviously, as Melbourne Storm, and they did a mighty job, a premiership job in terms of winning it on the road, and it did start here in Albury, Munners.
Forward pass, first tackle.
Yeah. That's disappointing for the Knights.
That's a let-off, and
it's the sort of thing that Adam O'Brien would be looking at it saying, all we have to do is try and build make our sets, just continue the pressure on, and when you hand something like that back to the reigning champions, it makes it tough.
Especially when Melbourne's just scored, you're inviting them back down for another shot.
So we're saying certainly that Albury has been the venue for Storm to springboard.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'd love it as a Melbourne Storm employee if this was the pattern. Come to Albury at the start of the year and win the competition, but there's a long way to go.
Yeah, look, there certainly is. And the Knights will be wanting to get back to be playing finals again. They hadn't done it for a little while before last year.
These two teams feature very early in round one. Storm kick off the season on a Thursday night against the Rabbitohs. Then round one for Newcastle is against the Bulldogs at home on the Friday in that 6 o'clock slot. So the first two games of the year, these two teams are in.
So we look forward to that. Welsh there just on the end of a fairly agricultural move from the Knights. And it will be Storm already pressing the line again. 22 out, Finucane. Goes to ground. Now it comes through the hands of Hughes. He waited for Munster. Kenny Bromwich hit it hard and was taken down.
Referees pulled them back for an obstruction there in the lead up.
Just try and have a look at that. Was it on Bromwich's run?
No, I think it was beforehand when Jerome Hughes and Cameron
gave to Munster.
Munster linked up there on the left-hand side, the two halves together. He's pulled it back for that.
So a reprieve there for the Knights. There's Frizzell again. Nearing 200 games of NRL football. Watson's been doing plenty of work through the middle.
Can play so many positions, Connor Watson. They've started him at lock today, but he can play in the halves. He can play at fullback. You could put him in the centres. He'd do a good job. You can play him at hooker. One of those players that's very valuable in an NRL side.
Genuine versatile utility, isn't he? Oh, again. And this is what trial matches are about. Balls going to ground, missed passes, missed opportunities.
Just notice on the sideline, Gemet Shibasaki's come off for the Knights, so I would say there must be some sort of injury concern there.
Yeah, sitting there, looking a little forlorn actually on the end of the bench. Big expanded bench in the NRL trial matches. Brandon Smith.
So apologies to Knights fans if we didn't pick that up a little bit earlier.
I wonder what the incident was, because there didn't appear to be anything with players remaining on the ground. Again, Storm pressing. Hughes says, I might go myself, and Jerome Hughes is over for Storm's second.
That's why he's so wanted by other clubs. He's coming off contract this year. He can score tries, he can set up tries. He's used his dancing feet there to go under the posts. 10-0 for Melbourne. It's come off the back of that error back on the 40-metre line where Newcastle coughed up the ball. Then there was a penalty, 6 again. And the Storm have made Newcastle pay with the second try of the afternoon. Jerome Hughes going in for probably the first of many tries this year.
Well, we know Hughes, over 60 games now for Jerome Hughes, the 26-year-old. Good crowd here as well at the Albury ground. Plenty of purple, but also plenty of red, white and blue of the Knights.
And Newcastle, of course, very popular amongst country fans in New South Wales, so it's great to see so many of their members and fans come along. Of course, memberships for both clubs. That try on the replay. See Jerome look to the left, back on the right, back off the left foot, in under the sticks.
Yeah, it was a big gap, wasn't it? And Hoy couldn't stop him in the end. Looks like Watson's also having a spell for the Knights, and Christian Welsh having a walk-off for the Storm at the moment.
So this is what happens in trials, and it's very hard. It's unlimited interchange, unlike a normal NRL game where you're limited with the number of changes you can make. This afternoon, it's unlimited interchange, and there's how many players down there on the sideline for Newcastle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 15 players, I think, down on the sideline for Newcastle. So we'll see all them, and it's hard enough from this distance to try and pick up some of the names, some of the numbers. It's going to be a nice challenge there in the second half.
Pappenhausen from right in front. And the fullback is 2 from 2. He is cementing his role in the kicking duties.
100% in 2021 for Paps. First one hard, second one easy. Cameron Munster's the second choice goal kicker. There's a couple of others out there that fancy themselves, but I don't know if we're going to get there too far down that list.
It's a challenging role because you need to be steady enough in your own game to be able to take the time. And now Paps is immediately involved again. So it is a challenging role, no doubt about it.
Tui Kamakamita back on the, well, not back on the field, his first appearance on the field for Melbourne. He had a lot of injury problems last year, predominantly with his back. He was probably Storm's best forward in the first 2 games of the season, then missed nearly the rest of the season. Expect a big year from Tui.
Yeah, he's certainly right and ready to go for season 2021. Here he is involved again. Strong tackle.
Especially with Tino Fasuamala-Awi now up at the Titans. There's a spot there in the forward pack in the 17 for Melbourne.
Brayley was involved in that tackle. Hoy again with plenty of work to do off his line, and Storm attack him in numbers. Kalen Ponga, of course, absent today. No one quite has the dancing feet of Kalen Ponga to be able to evade some of those big forwards as they make their progress towards you.
So Jacob Saifidi, Josh King amongst the 2 new faces on there for Newcastle at the moment.
So a break here for the Knights as they keep moving through.
Stafford Toa.
Yes. Met solidly, met very solidly, and I reckon Ryan Pappenhausen might be feeling the effects of that particular meet. Play continues though. Iramia. Is that Remus Smith actually? No, Iramia.
Just looking back at Ryan Pappenhausen, I think he's copped one.
Yep.
Right where you don't like to cop them. He's going to come off. Nico Hines, pretty good replacement to go out there as a fullback for Melbourne.
Well, you speak about those versatile utilities. Nico Hines fits that bill for Melbourne Storm, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Got the ball right now.
Melbourne's come up with another error right on halfway.
Hines has played a number of roles though.
Yeah, he's played. He can play in the halves. He could probably play in the centres. I imagine he could go on the wing. He could play in the forward pack. He's got a lot of size, good height. It's like a Connor Watson type of player without having the same body shape. Here's that run from Stafford Toa. Paps has copped it right in the middle. I think he's okay. He's up. He's talking to Dr. Jason Chan there on the Melbourne sideline. I think he'd be okay.
Knights break left-hand side. Bradman Best had a good couple of touches in the opening minutes and has gone a little quiet.
Now I just saw our doc laugh. He's with Paps, so I imagine that's the thumbs up. He's going to be all right, Koza.
Like watching Funniest Home Movies when you see a guy cop it where you don't want to and everyone else laughs except for that particular gentleman. As the Knights work it back, taken down to ground again. Toa, Frizzell, Hoy. They work it all the way through. Sue. Now into the corridor they go. All the way out left-hand side. Bradman Best. Taken down to ground. Smith and Hughes. Pearce now. Little up and under opportunity for the Knights. Well taken though. Justin Olam managing to elevate and bring it safely down to ground.
He's done well there, Justin Olam. Not the tallest man, but he got up high there. 2 Newcastle players coming through, but he took that one safely.
He did. A PNG favourite. Those older Storm fans would remember Marcus Byers, the man that established PNG's cult hero status. That was a fairly flat ball. That was flat as well, and Olam had to take it going to ground, which really exposed him to the tackle of Stafford Toa. Finucane getting deep into the tackle count now. Hines, just a laconic little right foot. He's made it very hard, nearly ran onto it. It was nearly the perfect work from Nico Hines.
Dean Aramea showed a nice bit of speed there on the outside. Almost got his foot to it to cause a little bit more havoc there for Newcastle, but in the end, it'll be Newcastle play the ball. So this is one of the changes. Normally that would be a scrum, but because the ball's gone off Melbourne, they get to play the ball. They can play it wherever they want along that line. They've taken it out to the centre of the field. Start a set of 6.
So how do the players and the coaching staff and the team as a whole adjust to some of those new rules? Because so many have been playing for so long, and then there's that little subtle change. Do they work on it during training?
Yeah, not overly from what I see. I'm not out there for many training sessions, and I'm not out there for very long, as the players will tell you. But there's always 2 or 3 little changes before the start of each year, and they seem to adapt to it pretty quickly. Once you get caught out once or twice, you soon learn.
That's the way you do it. King with some good work earlier. Tuala. Back through Pearce. Wide ball from him. Run of Brodie Jones. Just fresh onto the park now. So this is a promising build-up for the Knights. This is better than what we've seen in the first half an hour. Just as you say that.
One-on-one strip.
Just as you say that.
Kenny Bromwich has got his hands on there. Brandon Smith was in the tackle, peeled off. Kenny Bromwich has pulled off the one-on-one steal, stopping that one for the Knights.
Brodie Jones. Just got dispossessed there. Hines, the Fox now. Just managing to find an extra metre or 2. Heading towards half-time here at Albury. Storm lead at 12-0. The Knights have threatened by air a couple of times, but have been repelled. Oh, quick hands through the middle. That was Smith. Gave it out to Jeremiah. Nico Hines might get an opportunity to finish. Great tackle. Hoy moving across.
Jeremiah again. He's getting plenty of action, the young fella, but he's been caught on the last metre out.
Yeah, I think he was certainly looking for the line again then.
He's certainly got a bit of speed, hasn't he?
Yep.
It's looked good so far.
Gee, it was a try saver from Hoy coming across, managing to bring Hines back down to ground. So the Knights continue to make the changes. Jacob Saifiti.
We've currently got 9 players warming up down here. We must be going on for the second half, I think.
They can hold their own competition. This time the Knights kick. Hines. Just some handy little footwork off the laces there from Nico Hines. Controls the ball.
Now, just going back to the Jemmet Subasaki episode, there's actually 2 number 5s for Newcastle.
Okay,
so,
well, that'll help us.
So Shibasaki is actually still out there. He's about, I don't know, what's about 300 metres away from us at the moment on that far side. He's got number 5 on. There's someone else warming up down here with number 5 on. So Shibasaki is actually still out there. And there's another number 5, who I don't know who that is.
In the old days, you had to put a bit of elastoplast and make it 15 or 115. Brandon Smith, pocket battleship, makes metres up through the middle. Storm on the charge again. Harry Grant, little low ball. Look at Jesse Bromwich run onto it.
It's Big Nelson, I think.
Nelson Asafa Solomono, it is. Straight through the middle he goes. The big fella, his eyes lit up.
And he had to show a bit of speed to get through and beat 2 Knights to the ball. Great little kick through from Harry Grant. Almost the last person you'd expect to be running through the ground to Harry Grant grubber would be Nelson Asafa Solomona. But he's done it, the big man. He's got through. Another try for Melbourne. That's the 3rd of the first half. They've raced away to 16-0.
So Big Nelson getting through. Great crowd here at Albury. 16-0 at the moment.
I've certainly seen a lot down that Sydney end or northern end of the field. Storm's been running that way in the first half, and it's where most of the action's been, to be fair.
3 for Storm. Knights yet to trouble the scorer. Nico Hines putting his claim in for kicking duties.
Yeah, so is Cameron Munster declaring that Nico Hines is number 2 and he's number 3? Or is Nico just taking the ball saying, I'm number 2?
Might be giving Cameron a bit of a spell.
I would have thought Cameron would be keen to knock one over from in front, but Nico's got the job.
So Hines delivers. 18-0. Wonderful start from the reigning premiers. You would suggest Adam O'Brien will have a bit to say at half-time to his fairly young, it must be said, Paul Munnings Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, I think we've got to remember that the number of players they've got out, especially in the back line, that this isn't Newcastle's first choice run on 13. But as far as Melbourne goes, Brenko Lee's the only one missing there probably of Melbourne's run on 13. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But still, the scoreline's 18-0. Melbourne would be happy with the first half.
Just having a look at Nelson just charging through, barreled a couple of Knights straight out of the way and scored Storm's third try. Kamikamitha, 10 out from his own line. Brandon Smith taken down. He's the try scorer, looking for an offload, finds some extra metres, took a couple of Knights with him. You can do that when you're 125 kegs. Harry Grant, a little smaller, but he manages some extra metres as well. The experiment of the loan to the West Tigers seems to have worked. Harry Grant, though, back in the purple of Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, I think it was great for both clubs. West Tigers had Harry there, who was arguably their best player in 2020. Paul
Rookie of the year.
Paul Momorowski spent some time at Melbourne. He's obviously moved on further to Penrith. There's the end of the first half.
It is. Tui just took a bit of a hit there, so he'll be assessed in this half-time break. But it's Melbourne Storm that lead it. Tries to young Dean Iramia. Also Hughes going over and Nelson Asafa Solomono just in the shadows of half-time. We'll take a break here from Albury. The border skirmish will continue on the other side of this. The Newcastle Knights will want to come out and try and at least get on the scoreboard because it is 18-0 to Melbourne Storm. NRL trials Saturday afternoon. Round 1 just 12 days away. Make sure you get to Amy Park March 11 to see Storm take on the Rabbitohs. You can sign up for Storm membership as play gets underway again from just $30. melbournestorm.com.au. Tickets on sale from next Friday, the 5th of March. The chase starts again. Follow Storm at melbournestorm.com.au. Kamikamitha with the ball again. This time Storm are attacking the Melbourne or River End here at Albury and already working it off the defensive line. Newcastle Knights with some work to do. Ian Cohen and Paul Munnings with you.
Chat from half-time, Koza, was the Knights not happy with their ball handling and how that was in the first half, understandably. Storm pretty pleased with how that first 40 minutes went. There'll be a lot of changes come up in the second half.
So it's an opportunity in these trial games for those that are deeper on the roster or waiting to try and secure a spot to be able to impress the coaching staff. For the Knights, make sure the kids bring the noise and look the part as the Newcastle Knights come out charging this season. Limited time only. You can purchase a kid's home and away jersey, just $99. T's and C's apply. Visit shop.newcastleknights.com.au today as the Knights have got a handy offload and they work it up to the defensive 40.
Now, a big shout out to the Knights fans who have given it to us a bit about Gemmet Shibasaki. Now, he is still out there. He's playing in left centre in number 5. There is another number 5 sitting on the sideline. Still trying to work out who that guy is, but Gemmet Shibasaki is definitely still out there. And instead of being 300 metres away from us, he's now probably about 150 metres away from us.
So the Knights had an opportunity there. Knock on, though. And it goes down to ground. Daniel Saifidi couldn't quite find the handle. So a momentary reprieve for the Storm. Hines involved again. And we will see a lot of the younger players rotated through. We know the Knights are missing some of their really high calibre stars at the moment. For Melbourne Storm, it's almost a premiership lineup.
Yeah, and good news for Storm. Ryan Pappenhausen is back out for the second half after he came off late in that first half, and there he is with the ball now.
So Pap's going through the middle. Jerome Hughes.
Another change here for Melbourne. Remus Smith playing on the right wing. Nico Hines, one man inside him, playing at right centre. Dean Aramia has come off at the start of the second half.
The try-scoring teenager off the ground as Hughes sends it high here at Albury. Hoy comes out to meet it.
So this is an audition for Remus Smith for right-hand wing. We've seen Dean Aramia, we've seen Isaac Lumi and George Jennings in the reserves game. Now here we are with Remus Smith getting a chance. Harry Grant's just gone down. Looks like he'll be okay.
Whistle on play, but Grant just testing what looks to be maybe a knee or an ankle. Got caught up in the tackle. Trainer's assessing him. As co-captain Dale Finucane comes up. We'll just see this on replay. It looked like that left leg of Harry Grant might have just got caught underneath the ball carrier. So he makes his way to the sidelines. Storm at the moment with a clean sheet. 18-0 here at Albury.
Now, I've just been sent through a whole list of new names for the Knights. That
I look forward to those, mate.
Weren't on the initial list. Some of the players, Mac Baker, Dylan Lucas, Garrett Smith, Jaron Purcell, Zach Hosking, Mitch Black, Luke Huth, Jacob Carraz, I think it is.
Keep an eye out for those players. Handy offload, cross land. And just to get it a little wider. So Knights again trying to build up. Pushed off the kick momentarily and a little toe poke on the way through. Shibasaki almost managing to make something from nothing there. But in the end, Cam Munster managing to get back.
That all came through from a near charge down from Nico Hines, put the pressure on Phoenix Crossland. The ball came loose, Knights managed to kick it ahead. Almost, that's nearly as close as they've got to a try.
Well, your man Shibasaki was the one that got it on the toe.
Maybe he'll come up with a hat-trick after we said that he was off the field.
Cam Munster managing to cover it up. Pappenhausen, short. Picked up 18 out. So, not going the way of the Storm there. The Knights with another opportunity here. Josh King centres the ball up. Randall went left-hand side. Again, a promising build-up. Phoenix Crossland only played a handful of games. It's already been a big part of it. Knights are going backwards. Storm just not allowing them any sort of deep penetration at all towards the line, Munners.
No, but it's a really makeshift team that Knights have got out here at the moment. So we see a mistake there from Josh King. Good defence from Melbourne, but no pressure coming from the Knights. Another mistake. They've started off the second half a little bit like they were in the first half.
So Melbourne Storm with an opportunity to
while we've got a break,
go again.
It's important that acknowledge the Albury Tigers AFL club again for all that they've done to get this game up and running in just over a week. Normally it takes weeks to get a game together. Just the fact that we managed to get a live stream up and running at such short notice was thanks to Albury. The people at the Siesta Resort where Melbourne stayed last night, big thanks to you and to the Albury Council who have helped the Melbourne Storm out. And we look forward to hopefully their relationship continuing in the future.
Absolutely. So the Tigers with Brendan Brown, shooter, Joss family, very influential in the Albury area. The Tigers and a powerhouse team. Great for them to be able to support Melbourne Storm. Storm again, marching metres down the middle. Pappenhausen just waited, tried to find a hole for Kafusi. Didn't happen. Second row plays a lot of minutes. Kafusi Brandon Smith. Again, Storm surging. Finucane with the dummy. Hughes. Bomb. Nico Hines wants a piece of it. Well taken, though.
Braden Musgrove up high there, takes it over Nico Hines, relieves the pressure for Newcastle. If they want to get back into this game, they can't concede any more points. They need to be next to score.
So Knights need to find some metres coming out of defence here. Being played on Storm terms at the moment. And the new look Storm jerseys, they're creating a bit of chat on social media.
Jerseys always create chat. Everyone has an opinion on jerseys, don't they?
They do, as Hoy, one-man effort through the middle.
What I say about jerseys is we don't all walk around in the same clothes. It's very hard to find something that everyone loves.
All looks good in. Crossland this time. High, met by Pappenhausen, wrapped up by the Knights.
Harry Grant's just getting his left knee taped down there. Don't think it's anything serious looking at the faces of the people around him, but he might not be back for the rest of the second half.
Just got caught in that tackle early doors in the second half. 18-0, Knights yet to score. Storm with 3 tries so far. And looking the most likely to score in this second half. Back through the middle, Brandon Smith again. Pappenhausen. Hughes. Out to Bromwich. They work it this way. Smith would love to get on the end of it. That's Remus Smith with his audition on the right side. In the end, Hughes tries almost a chip and charge and is successful. Jerome Hughes got through. Offload to Nico Hines. Hines wants the post in the middle. I reckon they might have signalled 6 again as well. Not sure if Hines heard it. He goes right across. And in the end, it amounts to naught.
No, it had everyone on their feet, but on the sideline. What a play from Jerome Hughes. A chip and collect. Then Nico Hines was weaving towards the post, then realised he couldn't get there. Then he's put in his own kick. I don't know if there was a 6 again call in there or not. Then it's gone over the sideline. Exciting play from Melbourne.
No doubt about it. Looked like the ref was waving his arm.
Well, Melbourne's got 6 again, so there must have been something happened in there.
Yep.
So there must have been a penalty. Can't pick up for what it was.
Tui going through the middle. The Fijian, 33 games. All comes back out. This time, co-captain in Jesse Bromwich taken out, metres in it. A couple of tackles up their sleeve. Finucane tries to get in under the posts. He looks like he might have been successful. No, held up. That's the decision. So Dale Finucane looking for his first try of the afternoon. 200 game coming up in the prelim last year for Dale Finucane. Now co-captain along with this man, Jesse Bromwich. The absence of Cameron Smith still a talking point, obviously, throughout the NRL. Storm out there at the moment as Pappenhausen tries to open it up for the Fox. In the end, Addo-Carr couldn't get on the end of it. And Newcastle, they're wearing a couple at the moment on the ropes, the Knights.
Pretty much the first choice 13 out there for Melbourne at the moment, apart from Harry Grant, but you've got Brandon Smith, who'd be in just about any other club.
Walk up.
Yeah, and he could be the starting hooker yet in round 1. We'll wait and see. Nico Hines is the other player out there for Melbourne, Tui Kamikamica. It's a very strong Melbourne lineup that started the second half off.
So Finucane runs into a wall of red and blue. Again, the Knights having to absorb pressure, the young team. And Brandon Smith finds a hole, gets it across to Kafusi, who gets it down, and Storm have got 4.
And that's what Brandon Smith provides. He's good out of dummy half. Great runner of the ball. He's set up a try there for Felice on the right-hand side of the field. Harry Grant, State of Origin hooker, goes off. Brandon Smith, New Zealand hooker, goes in there, sets up a try. It's Good signs for Melbourne. They've got two great hookers there that can fill that role. Now, just on Harry, doesn't look like it's too bad. Got a message from the sideline. Looks like he's not too bad. So Storm fans can rest easy there.
And this afternoon, the boys are wearing the new away jersey, thanks to Castor. Coming soon to the Storm shop. You can shop the latest merchandise range at melbournestorm.com.au. And don't forget, shop.newcastleknights.com.au today. $99, T's and C's apply, but the kids' home and away jersey for a limited time, $99 at shop.newcastleknights.com.au
Now, we just saw Josh Addo-Carr come over the Ryan Pappenhausen as he's about to have a shot at goal. What do you think the conversation would have been there?
You think he might have been offering kicking advice?
Now, here's that replay. Brandon Smith straight through two Newcastle defenders. Looks to his right. Felice Kafusi's there. Newcastle were complaining that maybe Felice had dropped that, but the touch judge and the referee disagree. 4 points to Melbourne.
So Kafusi getting it done there.
Yeah, so the Fox, maybe he fancies himself as some
third string kicker.
Or maybe a goal-kicking whisperer, where he can provide a little bit of guidance before the boys take a shot. Maybe he's got the idea of where the wind's going or something like that.
Josh Addo-Carr. One more season with Storm?
Yep, one more season with Storm before he goes off to Canterbury. He's keen to make it a big one here in Melbourne. Of course, he's New South Wales origin and Australian winger, arguably the best winger in the game at the moment. Nick Kotrick from Canberra, he'd be up there as well. A couple of others that don't come to mind straight away, but I don't think Melbourne fans will be looking forward to that day when Josh is running around in Bulldogs colours.
When the Fox departs. But at the moment, there's a couple of young guys putting their hand up as Pappenhausen maintains the 100% record. 24-0 here at Albury.
3 from 3 from Paps. So I think you can just about say he's the kicker for round one.
So Nico Hines putting it over the top after Nelson Sofa-Solomono scored in the shadows of half-time. And then just 10 minutes the other side of the break, it is Kafusi who goes over. So the Knights now need to just reload, settle. We know they're missing experience, but they need to do something to be able to stop this premiership onslaught from Melbourne Storm. Storm have still looked rusty in patches. Welsh back on.
So just a further update on Harry Grant. Medial ligament that will be assessed on Monday, but the club is reasonably confident that it's not too bad.
Yeah, just got caught with that knee underneath in the tackle and it just bent the wrong way. So let's hope Harry Grant is nothing more than just some minor damage there. A little strain maybe. Again, marching down the middle, Melbourne Storm Munners. It's been ominous for the Knights, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. You've got to keep saying it's a very young Knights team, so we've got to remember that there's a lot of quality that wasn't in the team to start with today. Now there's a lot of quality sitting on that bench. So just got to keep the quality of the two teams in mind. But Melbourne, still playing Melbourne-type football, very few mistakes, keeping the pressure on. Helped out by a penalty there.
What does Craig Bellamy demand from his team, regardless of who they're playing?
Oh, it's do your job, keep your efforts high, don't make too many mistakes. I think that's three key pillars. Do your job's the main one. They know each player knows what their role is. So when they go out there, whether it's training, whether it's a game, just do your job.
Storm again pressing. Welsh. Nearing 100 games, Christian Welsh. This time Munster makes it for Hughes. Little hand intercept in there from the Knights. Shibasaki coming up with it. There's a little bit
of a disagreement in the background at the moment. Jesse Bromwich trying to break it up. They've decided to...
Little discussion point.
Decided to head back in the defensive line.
As the Knights go out to the right-hand side. They're attacking the Sydney end, northern end of this Albury Sports Ground. Josh King again. Had a fumble earlier. Knights need to do something here. Crossland. Out they go again. Brodie Jones.
I see number 24 for Newcastle. That's Mac Baker.
So the kick goes up.
Way too deep. Too easy for Remus.
Remus Smith. Plenty of Smiths. Cameron not amongst them though at the moment.
So Mac Baker's playing at fullback for Newcastle in jersey number 24.
Conceded that penalty a couple of minutes ago. Again, Christian Welsh eats up some metres. From Uken. Find some extras. Smith, Jesse Bromwich, Jerome Hughes, Nico Hines. Look at the run of Remus Smith. Ran out of yardage though. Looked good though, didn't it? Really looked good.
Yeah, and that man Shibasaki there to close that down. Actually glad he stayed out here now because we know who he is.
We do. We'll be picking him out.
And when you've got numbers 22, 24, 18, 19, does make it a little bit hard to pick up, especially at a distance.
So a trial match for these two teams, the champions and the challengers, to run through some rust. Melbourne Storm 12 days away. Amy Park, the Rabbitohs. Make sure you sign up as a Storm member, just $30, melbournestorm.com.au. Knights have spent a fair bit of time camped in Englishman. Looks rangy as well as solid. Through the middle again, Josh King. He's had the ball in the last couple of minutes. Now the kick comes. Crossland. Pappenhausen waits. That might have been Young that got across to him. So not only tall and imposing, but also very athletic, Dominic Young.
Yeah, he's certainly got a good build about him, Dominic Young. Be one that Newcastle will be looking to see what he can offer as the season goes through. Just looking across that Newcastle team, I think there's only two members of the starting 13 still out there, Shibasaki and Crossland. I don't know if there's anyone else from the starting lineup who's still out on the field.
What a great test, though, for some of the younger players out there to be up against Premiership Melbourne Storm. Hardened as Brandon Smith makes a meal of that play. Big Nelson came in late with that tackle. And it's going to come up for the Knights.
Heading into the last 20 minutes, I think you'll start to see the Storm bench get a little bit active. Actually, as I say that, Darren Schonig, Jake Howarth, Trent Loiero, George Jennings are all up. Tyson Smoothie's up. So I think we'll start to see a few more changes come through from Melbourne for this last quarter of the match.
Storm up 24-0. Knights haven't scored. They'd love to try and get something on the scoreboard against the Premiers. Superb conditions here at Albury. Wherever you're watching around Australia or indeed around the world, lovely to have you along. Saturday afternoon trial match. Again, they go right-hand side. Young full-back taken down to ground. Feed it back. Crossland. Strong work from Solo. Crossland has been busy. They looked the most promising of all build-ups. In the end, thwarted. Hines had got across and just stopped the run. Back through the middle.
So it's interesting to see how these two coaches approach this game. Storm have used their starting lineup a lot more than Newcastle have.
Newcastle are in for the first points of the afternoon for the boys in the red and the blue. Right-hand side, they managed to push it all the way across. So Newcastle managed to peg one back on Melbourne Storm.
Now, you're going to ask me who that was.
I am.
And that's about as far away as you could get. That feels like the try was scored in New South Wales and we're sitting in Victoria.
It is a long way away. We'll be able to watch the replay in a moment.
You know that old school footy where they say, can you put your try scorer please raise their hand?
As it came through, there was a young fullback. It was the last one out, diving across the line.
Even the replay hasn't helped us there. And unfortunately, because I'm not a Newcastle Knights media manager, I can't tell you who that was. Sorry, guys.
So the Knights get on the board. Kick to come, waved away. So it is just the 4 points for the Knights. They trail at 24-4. So Daniel Saifidi being mentioned as the try scorer.
No, it's not Daniel Saifidi.
I was going to say,
no.
not unless
the ground announcers,
not unless he's trimmed down a little bit.
The ground announcers had a shocker. That's not Daniel Saifidi, I can tell you that much. I'm looking at the Newcastle Knights Twitter. It's not up on their Twitter yet. So
might have been Toa, was it?
No, he's not on the field.
Okay.
You know when you call games at AFL fields and it's difficult? AFL fields that then used to have a cycling track around it makes it even more difficult.
I'll get it for you though. Pappenhausen again. Knights looking a little unsure at the moment, and again having to work off their own line. Saulo. Knights would love to be able to get across again, just to build some belief in a couple of the youngsters. Dominic Young getting taken down to ground. The young Englishman, 19 years of age. Started playing top level as a 17-year-old. He's now made his way to Australia. Now the Fox comes this way and that way.
Cameron Munster getting some love from the crowd, and he's giving him a wave while he's sitting on the bench. That's what if you can hear it in the background, that's what the raucous behaviour is over on this side of the field here.
We can certainly hear it, so the Albury locals certainly enjoying having Storm in town. And now Brandon Smith, the pocket battleship, receiving the plaudits of the crowd.
As expected, the changes have come from Storm. Brian Pappenhausen's coming off the field. Isaac Lumi is on. Jake Howarth is on. Cooper Johns is currently on the field. Chris Lewis is on there. George Jennings is out here on the right-hand side. So I would estimate the number of changes made after that try somewhere between 6 and 8.
Yeah. Wholesale changes being made. Cooper Johns was the man with the kick.
Now, the Knights haven't helped me at all here. They just updated their Twitter, and they haven't said who the try scorer's name was either.
Okay.
So I don't feel so bad if the Knights the Knights are as stumped as we are.
Who are also sitting on this same side of the ground.
Yeah, so it couldn't have been scored in a worse position or in a worse angle than that one. What I'll try and do, I'll try and see if we can find out what number that is over on that right winger, and that might solve the puzzle.
Just having a look at the number of the right winger at the moment.
So he won't turn around now because he knows we're trying to find.
Well, sometimes it may or may not help. Young involved again, manages to get the offload. And you can see how high the numbers are going. 32 for the Knights, taken down to ground.
32 is Jaron Purcell.
So Knights swing it left-hand side. They try and keep it in. Did well.
They're going all right, these young Knights, the last
They are
5 or 10
starting
minutes.
to throw it around at the moment. Welsh comes with intent. Gee, Crossland wore one there.
Yeah, he makes a career out of kick pressure, Christian Welsh. He's actually come off worse for wear. He's got one knee down, now he's up. So he loves the kick pressure. He says that's one of his roles. So here he is doing it late in the first trial. I think there's about 13 minutes to go, and he's put one through. He's come off second best.
So Dominic Young, it headed in his direction. He was unable to retain the ball though, and it's Storm that come back up with it. So what's left in the closing stages here at Albury? It's been a dominant performance by the Storm.
Someone on Twitter suggested that it's Braden Musgrave who scored the try in jersey 21, but it's not him because jersey 21's on the left wing.
Okay.
So that's a cross. Thanks, Robert, but I think you're wrong there, mate.
It's a mystery of the day.
We'll get to the bottom of this before full time.
Johns wants to get across the line. Finucane.
All right.
Oh, through Hines, hands it went. Might be okay, Lumi on the end of it.
Newcastle Knights Twitter
comes back.
Has identified Dylan Lucas as the scorer.
Okay, so Dylan Lucas, who wasn't on the original sheets.
He scored. We were given, I don't know how many names we've got here. I reckon we've got nearly 33 names. Dylan Lucas wasn't one of them.
So congratulations to Dylan Lucas. He's got the only Knights try so far.
So Dylan Lucas was on a list that was texted to me and he had no number next to him.
Okay.
So
well, importantly, he's managed to get across the chalk for the Knights. Come through the middle here again.
I'm going to bet that that's possibly his first try for Newcastle.
Sasangi, yeah, I would think so.
At least in the top grade.
Play just a bit halting at the moment as we get towards the final 10 minutes. Changes being swung left, right and centre. Trial match here at Albury. One to blow out the cobwebs. Melbourne Storm's first home match, just 12 days away. Newcastle Knights, similar distance.
So shout out to Dylan, he's in jersey 29. So we can add that one to the list.
We can. So Dylan Lucas goes in there. Good work by him. Storm again. Left-hand side. Out in front of the Albury Tigers grandstand. Hines. Johns. Lumi. Was prominent last year when he got the opportunity, Lumi.
Yeah, did really well. Sully Vunivalu was out for a couple of games and Lumi came in. He's definitely one of the chief contenders for that wing spot. Such an interesting battle there that's underway for that position.
So Knights won't want Storm to go in again. But you get an ominous feeling, especially when Nelson runs onto the ball. Hines managed to get it out and going in over the top. Storm again. So that's 5 here in Albury for Melbourne Storm.
That's Remus Smith going in, first try, wearing Melbourne Storm colours.
So Remus Smith.
Gee, I'm hoping it's Remus Smith. It could be Chris Lewis.
I'll have a look. Again, it's gone on the far side of the ground.
Nah, it's Chris Lewis. I'm going to cop it.
Right.
I'm going to cop it. That's not Remus. That's Chris Lewis that's gone in for the try.
Let's have a look at it again. Through the hands of Johns. Nelson attracted the tacklers. And then it is Lewis on the end of it. Goes in left-hand side. Chris Lewis.
So that's going to cost me a coffee, I would say.
I would suggest so. So Chris Lewis joins the try scorers.
Chris Lewis scored in round 20 against St George last year. Left-hand side of the field, a little bit like that one. Can play a number of positions, Chris. Back row, he can play in the centres. He's done that for the Falcons in the Q Cup. Probably can play in the middle if you need him to play a middle forward role.
So Nico Hines again with the kicking duties. He's batting 100 at the moment.
Now, I would love it if they started scoring down this side of the field. If they're going to score tries here in the last 7.5 minutes, if they can score a couple over this side, that would help enormously.
It would be a bit of a treat, wouldn't it? Nico Hines settling himself, kicking towards the Melbourne end. Not only Melbourne's scoring end, but the Melbourne geographical end as well. Hines, high. Lob wedge about that one, but both flags are up.
Yeah, goal kicking's been good today from Melbourne. Brian Pappenhausen, Nico Hines, I don't think we've seen a miss yet.
No.
5 tries, 5 goals.
Paps with 3, Hines with 2. 30 playing 4. Closing couple of minutes here at Albury.
I think that's a pretty fair indication of the difference between the two teams, not only what they've produced on the field, but the lineups that we've had today. You'd expect Melbourne, with a team that they had for most of this game, to get over the top of the Young Knights team.
So this is Schoenig, who's also got some minutes late in the game.
A lot of these players out there at the moment played in that curtain raiser game. Jack Howarth in particular was impressive. He's playing on the right centre position.
So he'll sleep well.
Former Australian schoolboys representative, new member of the NRL squad for Melbourne.
See in the red and white boots.
That's him.
Dominic Young there, involved in the tackle, but not going his way.
The raffle was drawn earlier and the winning ticket was A Green 46.
So Melbourne Storm in complete command here, as you would expect. 30 playing 4.
Northern end of the ground.
And again,
you'll see a big teardrop
they take it to the Newcastle Knights.
Kind of behind.
Just a reminder that all these trials today are available via the club websites and on KO, and the Charity Shield is on Fox League tonight, so there's plenty of footy on the agenda for a lot of people this evening.
So Knights feed, and they go left-hand side. Back through the middle. Love to score another one, the Knights. There's some experience in there though, isn't there, for Melbourne Storm. Knights just finding it hard to try and breach the line. 9 metres out now. Still some enthusiasm around the Knights though. They haven't put the white flag up yet. Little kick and chase. Finucane though pounces on the ground. Another scrum.
Weekend off.
No.
Weekend off for both these teams next weekend before round 1. Bit of training to get done between now and then, however.
So the tap, which is what you were talking about, taken by the Knights.
We haven't seen that other new rule today, the 40-metre field goal for 2 points.
No.
Love to see someone have a crack at that.
Well, you might find Melbourne Storm maybe late in the
Like this, if
proceedings.
If Cameron Munster was still out there, he might have a shot.
Solid tackle. Knights again move it through the middle. They get to within 10 and 15 and Storm just hold them up time and time again. Oh, almost. Just trying to get a little hand in there was Iramia. In the end, it was ineffective.
So once again, Coz, I must say a big thank you to the people of Albury and Wodonga and the surrounding area, and those fans from Melbourne and Newcastle who made the trip either up or down for this game. To have a capacity crowd here at such short notice, it was a big tick, I think, for those people. It's a big tick for the game of rugby league, the people of Albury, Tigers and the council and everyone else who's helped pull this together at such short notice. I know there's been some challenges with various issues that have propped up in the last 7 days, but we got there. We got a game of footy on that everyone was able to come and see. Everyone who wanted to watch the live stream could see it on the live stream. So we can all look forward to a big round 1 coming up not too far. And Amy Park at the moment's 50% capacity for that round 1 game on Thursday, March 11th. So that's 15,000 people will be able to come along. I think from a membership perspective, I think everyone with a membership that gives them a ticket will be able to attend. So that's good news. And then general public tickets will go on sale a little bit closer to the game. It's a bit of a tricky situation with COVID and all the restrictions around about how many tickets go on sale and when and where. So the club will have more information on ticketing as we get closer to round one. With a bit of luck, we might get an increase in more than 15,000, but at least 15,000.
Stop-in players, Crossland was being assessed, and now he's been walked, you can see, towards the rear of the playing area, and being assessed now by Newcastle training team. So that was why the wait in play was. But you're quite right, you can sign up as a Storm member, just $30, melbournestorm.com.au. And the Newcastle Knights, the kids bring the noise, look the part. As a limited time only, you can purchase a kid's home and away jersey for just $99. Shop.newcastleknights.com.au today.
Now, speaking of the trials, if you're planning to watch them at a later time today, they'll be available on KI, I believe. Roosters and Raiders has finished, so it's been completed. If you don't want to know the score, don't listen for the next 5 seconds. Roosters beat the Raiders 26-20.
Okay, so a bit of closer encounter than what we've got here at the moment.
The other games that are on at the moment, the Titans are playing the Warriors, the Sharks are playing the Bulldogs. Then at 6:30 you've got Dragons, Rabbitohs in the Charity Shield, that's on Fox League. 7:30 Penrith against Parramatta, Western Sydney Derby, that's on at 7:30. Broncos v Cowboys, Queensland Derby, that one's on at 8 o'clock. Then tomorrow we wrap up with West Tigers versus Manly. So they're all available to be there and watch. This has sort of come about in the last few years that all these trials have been available. I can remember not too long ago it was hit and miss whether you saw trials, but they're all there and available now for people to see, and hopefully people get to enjoy it.
No, it's a great system, no doubt about it. We know obviously there's limited cameras and some of the grounds are a bit like this one, an AFL ground, or we know that you love seeing it though, and you love at least being able to watch and view and listen to your team and how they're progressing. So we understand that, but it is fantastic that the NRL puts on this facility, Munners, and for people to be able to watch it in a limited capacity.
Yeah, and it's been a good afternoon of footy. We've had 2 games here. People have paid $20 to get in. They've seen 2 games of footy as the Knights break away in the final seconds.
Yep, this is your man who already scored 1. He brings it into the big Englishman. And the second try will go to Dominic Young, the 19-year-old from the UK. And he'll love that start to his Newcastle Knights career, literally on the final seconds of this match.
Dylan Lucas sets up a try, he scores 1. He's had a good afternoon out there on the right wing for Newcastle. And Dominic Young's been pretty impressive since he's been on. So it'll be interesting to see how his career progresses. Nice little shot there for the Knights. Leave them feeling a little bit happier about how things have gone.
So Chris Randall will finish with the kicking duties. Rookie of the year for the Knights.
So for Storm, the one injury concern today was Harry Grant. Went off with what appears to be a minor medial complaint. He'll get that assessed on Monday.
And he doesn't take too much time. Looks like he might want to be happily heading for the showers. And at full time, the score here at Albury, it is Melbourne Storm 30 and the Knights are 10. So Dominic Young with final try just as the seconds ticked away. Great 80 minutes of football though, and for a lot of these young Newcastle Knights players, they'll be better for the run. Melbourne Storm Premiership players obviously with a chance just to dust off a little bit of that rust.
Yeah, it was a bit of a meeting behind the post there with the Melbourne players after that try, so there was obviously a little bit said about conceding a couple of tries there in the second half. First half, Melbourne were very impressive, like they were in the trial last year against the Cowboys. Strangely enough, for a club that didn't have a very good record in trials, Melbourne's now won 2 last year and they're 1 this year. So the trial form's okay, and we'll see how the round 1 form progresses when they play South Sydney.